Charlie Munger said the smartest people in the room stay poor for one reason, and if you're 22 and your life feels quietly stuck, you're already living inside it. You've noticed something disturbing by now, even if you've never said it out loud. The ones who read the books, the ones who think deeper than their friends, the ones who actually analyze the world, they're the ones behind. Meanwhile, the guy who barely finished school is buying property. A friend who never touches a book is somehow the one with money. And you, with your library and your theories and your careful plans, are still calculating what to order. This is not bad luck. This is a specific psychological trap with a name, and by the end of this you'll be able to see it operating in your life in real time. Stay to the end. The fifth mechanism is the one smart people spend their entire 20s avoiding, and it's the exact one that flips the whole thing. What we're about to unpack isn't a self-help lecture. It's a rule book nobody handed you. There's a concept from psychologist Barry Schwartz called the paradox of choice. The more options a person can perceive, the harder it becomes to act. Now imagine someone with a high pattern recognition brain, someone who can see 15 possible outcomes for every decision. That person doesn't get more freedom. They get frozen. Everyone knows the Dunning-Kruger effect in one direction. Dumb people overestimate themselves, but almost no one talks about the reverse. Smart people underestimate what they already know, second-guess their own instincts, and defer action indefinitely because they can always imagine one more variable. Meanwhile, someone with less capacity for complexity picks something and moves. And in the real world, movement compounds. Thinking doesn't. Watch what happens in your own head the next time a small opportunity shows up. You don't say no. You start listing conditions. You want more information. You want to research first. You want the version of the plan that has zero downside. That instinct feels like intelligence. It's actually a defense mechanism. Your brain has learned that overthinking feels safer than being wrong out loud. If this is landing, save this video. You will want to come back to this. These ideas hit different when you catch yourself living them in real time. But here's what nobody tells you. Trap isn't overthinking itself. It's what overthinking gives you as a reward. And that reward is exactly where it gets uncomfortable. Every school system on Earth trains a specific psychological profile. Follow instructions, delay reward, specialize in one narrow skill, wait to be evaluated by someone above you, be graded, be certified, then rent yourself out for a salary. The whole framework Robert Kiyosaki built starts here. The modern school system was designed in the industrial era to produce compliant workers, not owners, not builders, compliant high IQ workers who would stay in a chair and follow a manual. And the people who did best inside that system, the honors kids, the ones with the clean transcripts, internalized the deepest version of it. They became the most patient, the most willing to wait for permission before doing anything, the most well-behaved. Now hear this carefully. Delayed gratification, the same skill that made you good at school, is the exact skill that keeps you broke. Because at some point, delayed gratification stops meaning, I'll study now and party later. It starts meaning, I'll wait to launch. I'll wait for the right job. I'll wait for the market. I'll wait until I feel ready. Waiting becomes your personality. Waiting is the disease. Machiavelli in The Prince wrote that fortune favors the bold. Most people quote that line without understanding the mechanism underneath it. He wasn't saying bold people are talented. He was saying reality itself rewards initiative, not because initiative is smart, but because initiative is rare. Everyone else is waiting. Everyone else is polishing. Everyone else is preparing. If you simply act while they prepare, you've already broken away from the pack, regardless of your IQ. Look at where your intelligence actually goes right now. It probably goes into being liked at your job, understanding your boss's mood, managing office politics, doing a task twice as well as required and hoping someone above you notices. That is your intelligence subsidizing someone else's wealth. Every hour of overconfidence you give away is an hour someone else compounds. Nobody at the top ever asks you to do less of it. They just quietly cash it. I told you at the start there's a mechanism most smart people spend their whole life avoiding. We're getting to it, but first we need to talk about how the wealthy actually think, because it's almost the exact opposite of what social media told you. Watch anyone who built serious money from nothing. They didn't wait for permission. They didn't specialize into a single narrow skill. They didn't try to be the best at one thing. They took a lot of small asymmetric bets, tolerated ambiguity better than everyone else, and let time compound the ones that hit. Nassim Taleb has a name for this. Barbell strategy. Put most of your energy into things that are extremely safe. Then take a small deliberate portion and put it into things with high uncertainty and unlimited upside. Not gambling, bets where the downside is capped and the upside is not. Broke smart people almost never do this. They put everything in the middle, a mediocre job, a mediocre degree, a mediocre plan, because the middle feels responsible. The middle feels smart. The middle is the exact place wealth cannot form. Here's a question. Drop it in the comments. What's one bet you've talked yourself out of in the last year because it wasn't the right time? Be honest with yourself. That thing you're about to type is exactly what we're talking about. Now the status game. When you're 18 to 25, everyone around you is playing for prestige. Prestige is the badge, the title, The name of the company on the LinkedIn, the follower count, the verified checkmark. Prestige feels like power. It isn't. Machiavelli made a brutal distinction. Power is what you actually control. Prestige is what other people think you control. And smart people, because they've been graded and praised their whole lives, become addicted to prestige without noticing. They chase impressive-looking positions instead of real ownership. They pick the job at the famous company over the tiny equity stake in the boring one. Meanwhile, the person who doesn't care about looking impressive is quietly accumulating small pieces of things. A small business here, a niche skill they own outright, a relationship with a customer nobody else has, boring, ugly, real, prestige rots, ownership compounds. There's a question Peter Thiel asks in interviews. What important truth do very few people agree with you on? That's a Machiavellian question in disguise. He's asking, can you hold a position the crowd doesn't? Because that is the only kind of position that generates real wealth. Consensus is already priced in. If everyone can see the opportunity, it's gone. Which means being smart and correct at the exact same time as everyone else is a great way to stay poor forever. And now we get to the last mechanism, the one I told you at the start most people spend their entire 20s avoiding. This is where the whole video shifts. Here's what nobody says out loud. Money is not the reward for being smart. Money is the reward for tolerating uncertainty. Read that again. The world does not pay you for what you know. It pays you for what you're willing to do while not knowing whether it will work. Every wealthy person is being paid for their willingness to sit inside ambiguity. The founder who doesn't know if the business survives the month. The investor who doesn't know if this cycle crushes them. The operator who doesn't know where the next customer comes from. They get paid because that willingness is rare. Meanwhile, the salary job you're chasing is a payment plan for the removal of uncertainty. You're literally paying with lower earnings, with capped upside, with your best years to feel safe. That is the trade, the whole trade. And it's a Machiavellian truth in modern clothing. The people at the top figured out they could sell certainty to everyone else at a huge markup because most humans will do almost anything to feel safe, including live small forever. Now, the actual rewrite. You've probably been told you need discipline or productivity or better habits. That's mid-level advice. Here's the deeper version. You do not have a money problem, you have an identity problem. You've built your identity around being the smart one, the careful one, the one who thinks it through. That identity is protecting you from ever being embarrassed, humbled, exposed, or wrong in public. And it will cost you the next 10 years of your life if you don't name it. People you quietly envy weren't smarter than you. They were more comfortable looking stupid for longer. That's the real currency. Comfort with looking stupid. Because looking stupid is the price of entry for every non-trivial thing that pays. You will be bad at the pitch, bad at the negotiation, bad at the launch, bad at the ask, bad at the first version of anything. The person who tolerates being bad at those things in public accumulates skill and money. The person who protects their image accumulates opinions about the people who took the risk. The last quiet lever nobody uses at 22 is this. Stop optimizing for being right. Start optimizing for being early. Being early looks stupid, unproven, uncomfortable. Being right after everyone agrees is applause with no money attached. If this is the kind of content you actually want more of, no fake positivity, no 5 tips for success recycled from LinkedIn, no motivational poster nonsense, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss a drop. This channel is quietly building a library of the things nobody says out loud about how power, money, and psychology actually work at your age. If you're already the friend in your group who thinks deeper than everyone else, you're the exact person this was made for. So here's what to hold on to. You are not broke because you're not smart enough. You're broke because your intelligence has been organized around not being wrong. And in a world that pays for courage more than accuracy, that setup will keep you poor forever unless you flip it. You don't have to become reckless. You don't have to become someone you're not. You just have to notice once a week when you're using your intelligence to justify not moving. That's the whole rewrite. The rest compounds on its own. If this landed, my breakdown of why 90% of people your age will never leave the middle class, and the exact Machiavellian rules the ones who escape actually follow, is the natural next step. That video picks up exactly where this one ends. Watch that one now. Everything you just heard will land twice as hard once you do.